Hello, my name is Jacob Reagan. Today I'll be talking about the history of golf balls and golf clubs. I found this picture pretty neat. It shows the featherly golf ball far left leading up to the modern technology far right. The first thing I will be talking about today is the history of golf balls, from its earliest days of the 16th and 17th century until present-day golf balls such as Titleist. The earliest pioneers of golf did not have the opportunity to play with our current technology. The first golf balls were made out of wood. As you can imagine, there was no such thing as a 300-yard drive. It was not until the 17th century that leather became the ball style of choice. The Scots invented the feathery between the 17th and 18th century. It is thought that the idea came from the ball used in the Dutch's game called golf. The ball is encased by leather and filled with cow hair. The ball was painted white for easier spotting. The golf ball weighed an average of 1.62 ounces. This is about the same weight as the ball we use today. This ball improvement doubled the shot distances. The wooden ball could be hit 100 yards, whereas the leather ball could double that by going 200 yards. Due to the leather cracking open, along with losing its touch, quote unquote, the average golfer would use multiple balls in one round, with an average of 4 balls per round. There are disadvantages with the feathery. Rain tended to make the ball soggy and not much better than the wood ball when wet. The price was also extremely high compared to the wooden ball. Next on the scene was the gutty ball. The gutty was introduced in 1848. Gutty comes from the gutta percha, which is a gum tapped from a tree indigenous to Malaya. The process in order to make this ball was much simpler compared to the leathery. This gave rise to an affordable ball. This couldn't have came at a better time. The Industrial Revolution gave rise to the leisure time for the Britons, and the price of this ball made it affordable for more people to be able to play golf. There are a few advantages of the gutty ball, along with a few disadvantages. Some advantages include the cheapness of the ball, allowing for more players to be able to afford golf. The second being the same distance could be accomplished compared to the leathery ball. This stopped the rich man tag that was placed on golf. The third being more people able to play the game. Disadvantages include the ball splitting in mid-air. This led to a change in the rules. If a ball split in the air, the player was to place a new ball where the biggest chunk landed. The next golf ball on the list is the rubber ball, created by Mr. Haskell, invented in 1901. This golf ball created a big change in the golf world. It also caused havoc in the golf world when a no-name man called Sandy Hurd defeated Harry Vardon using the rubber ball during a tournament. He used the same rubber ball for all 4 rounds, which was unheard of at this time. After hundreds of years of very few improvements, I get to modern style golf balls. The first modern golf ball used balta inside instead of recent gutta percha covering. This material led to the invention of many other casings for golf balls. The manufacturers focused mainly on increasing distance along with less spin in today's technology. Overall, the ball weighs the same at 1.62 ounces, but the new material used today gives the players max distance with over 300-yard drives. This is a huge improvement compared to the wood balls that were used hundreds of years earlier. I will now be discussing the history of golf clubs. First, I'd like to talk about the evolution of irons. The first irons were not used much because they would rip the leather ball used at the time. Since the balls were so expensive, this was not a popular club. The first irons had wooden shafts, and the iron face was made by a blacksmith, so they were considered to be very rough. The early 20th century introduced the use of hollow-faced irons, which did not work very well. The most important improvement to the iron has been the grooves embedded on the face of the iron. Before grooves, the faces were smooth irons. As you can imagine, this did not help any shot. With today's technology, irons have become weighted to fit each individual golfer. Now shafts. The first shaft were made out of wood. Wooden clubs were used for hundreds of years until the invention of steel shaft in 1925. This allowed golfers to purchase a set of golf clubs and keep them for a while, whereas wood would break and you would have to purchase new ones. From 1925 to the 1980s, there was few improvements involving shafts, but golfers in the 1980s started to use graphite and titanium shafts, which is what we use today. Drivers started as all wood clubs. Then after steel irons were introduced in 1925, drivers and fairway woods were not far behind. Once steel was used for years and years, the introduction of titanium was an improvement. Titanium is still used today. Putters have followed a similar path. Putters originally started as all wood, but the introduction of the gutty ball still stole the stage. Just as drivers, as time went on, putters were being made out of titanium. One can still purchase a putter of any material mentioned above. A recent improvement has been the belly-style putters. In conclusion, golf balls have been made out of wood, leather, gutta percha, rubber, balta, and other materials. Golf clubs first started as wood, then moved to steel. Now titanium is the material of choice. Shafts were first wood, then steel. Now they are made of graphite and titanium. Overall, in my opinion, the golf ball has been the biggest factor in the evolution of golf. It has forced officials to change the rules of golf multiple times. It has also changed the way players have played the game, whether it be the improvement of distance or the loft of the ball. Thank you for listening to my presentation. So long.